man, I'm just so sore. I'm 47. I can't do this anymore. Screw it. No, discomfort is right when it's starting to work.
Right. I totally agree. When things get hard, you have to learn more, do more, see more to get where your goal is. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think if you're comfortable the whole way through, God bless you.
Right.
Welcome to another week of the Health, Tech, and Wellness Podcast. I'm John Adams, and I'm here with Crystal again. And this week, we're going to be talking about those times when motivation dips, right? We all get motivated. We all start off and we're on fire. This is going to be great. We go out and we buy every piece of gym equipment. We join 3 gyms. We throw out every piece of junk food in the house. If you're looking to, start a business, you went and you've bought the most expensive microphone out there. You're jumping in and you're putting the cart before the horse. And then 2 weeks later, and you're sitting there and the gym membership bill hits and you go, man, did I go this month? Or you've already bought, 3 more boxes of ho-hos that you threw out the last, 3 boxes. And we all go, what happened? I was so motivated. So that's what we're going to talk about today is what do we do when that motivation wears off? Because motivation isn't going to stick around. It's one of the most fleeting things that you're ever going to have. So let's jump into this conversation, Crystal. And what are your thoughts on the whole, I'm motivated, let me get started on this kind of attitude?
So I think it is good to get started, obviously. But when the motivation wears out, and this might sound silly, but say that your problem is weight. Let's say your weight is your issue and you're trying to lose weight and you feel like you're doing everything at the gym and nothing's really working. But you just feel like you want to give up, right? So you go to the store and you go get a pair of pants and you put them on and you see how tight they are. And you realize, oh, there's some motivation. I need to get back and get, like little things like that. Just being real with yourself. Like, hey, I'm slipping. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. It's just being accountable. But sometimes little things like that can give you a little motivation. I mean, it's maybe not the most positive thing, but it works.
You're right. And I would say keeping reminding yourself so you can re-spark that motivation is huge. But I think sometimes, and that was me for 20 some years of my life, I would get to the point where that little bit of motivation sparked me and I was already too far gone. So I didn't really even care. I'm like, okay, I'll buy the next size up. Screw it. I went too far. It's too late. Screw this, So yes, 100%. I think that we do need to keep those things handy. But you've got to really, never shared this with you, so I'll share it right now. On my journey, I know I'm up a little bit right now, right? So Christmas kicked me in the rear. It really did, but that's okay. I'm back on path and we're good. But I don't wait a week. I don't wait a month. I don't do weekly because our bodies fluctuate daily. I don't know if people know this, but you 100%. You could fluctuate actually twice a day. Not going to be a lot, but your water weight, right? So if you really want to get a very good, accurate measure of where you're at, and you really want to keep that motivation going, may not work for everybody, but get on the scale daily. You'll be really surprised. I gave myself a little grace. Again, spoke in the last episode. Cindy filled up my stocking full of Mally's chocolates. Probably one of the worst things in the world, but hey, guess what? I knew it was coming and I prepared for it. And I understood that I was going to be on a small, slight hiatus, but I didn't let myself fall completely off the wagon. And I'm right back where I need to be. And we'll take care of these, 5-6 pounds and knock it out of the water. But at the end of the day, yes, find a way to keep the motivation going. But I'll tell you the best way to keep the motivation going is those same little things that we've been talking about for the past couple episodes. As long as you start small and you stay consistent and you keep it so it's so stupid simple, the motivation will slip. But now you've built habits and you've started habit stacking. For anybody out there that didn't listen to my episode last year on habit stacking, all that is doing the same thing over and over and over until it becomes like breathing, like riding a bike. And then you add on the next small thing. And if you do that, even when the motivation slips, they become just your everyday habits, right? So I'm sure you've had a couple of those moments in your life, right? Where you've built those habits where now you don't even think about it, right? I'm sure you've got a couple of those.
I got too many of them to even talk about now.
Sometimes not good.
No. But I do. I definitely have some habit stacking now. Like I do, every day there's a certain amount of reading I want to do, a certain amount of journaling. Like there's always, I need 30 minutes of active movement. Like I have a lot of habits that I stack. And when I don't get them done, I feel like I'm missing something. So, I mean, once you get in the habit of it, it really is easy to stay in it.
Yeah, 100%.
But when you do go a day and you don't get everything, it's not a big deal. The next day, just pick up where you left off and keep going. Don't beat yourself up, lose the shame, lose the guilt, and do what needs to be done.
Exactly. Yeah, don't ever stop just because you missed and just because you messed up. If you heard the last episode, right towards the end of the episode, my internet or something completely dropped off. We were gone. I was like, oh no. The great thing with Riverside is it brought her right back. I literally refreshed and there we were and we finished up the episode. But so many little things like that where you slip. Okay, guess what? You went to a wedding today and you had a couple drinks and I'm not talking about you're an alcoholic and you're trying to quit drinking, but you're cutting back on the drinking for your health or for your, physical health or wellness. And you had a couple. It doesn't mean that you go and buy a 6-pack tomorrow because you screwed up. That means that you had a good time and now you're back on track today. Right. So that's where, don't let your motivation slip just because a mistake happened or just because something fell the wrong way, right? I can tell you multiple times in my life where it just didn't work out. I have everything planned. The plan looks amazing. The plan is beautiful. And then you get to the day where it's ready to start and, oh, this isn't working the way I thought it would work. And I would scrap it because I didn't have this mentality at that time of, okay, well, it's not perfect, but that's okay. Let's get this started. Let's try it out a little bit. And once you're in it, then you realize that, okay, this isn't the red Corvette that I want, but man, it's a beautiful red Pinto, right? It's getting me to and from work or whatever, right? But I know that's
you had to say Pinto, didn't you? You had to go there, right?
I had to go. Look, we're both in our 40s. If some of the young people probably don't. Listen, if there's anybody under the age of 30 that's listening to us, I'd be very shocked. We're talking to the old folks out there. But yeah.
Speak for yourself.
Okay, you're a few years younger. But yeah, at the end of the day, because it didn't go 100% as planned and you just scrap it, we can't keep doing that, guys. We're slowly killing ourselves mentally, physically, and emotionally because it's not perfect. Screw it. I'm not going to try it anymore. And then that excitement just continues to fade. And then what you just said, you go to Kohl's. I hate Kohl's. I'll tell you why I hate Kohl's. I go to JCPenney's. I go really almost anywhere. And I buy a size shirt. Right now I'm in XL. I was 3X. And I go to Kohl's for that same shirt. And it's like a medium. I won't even call it a medium. It's a schmedium.
A schmedium? I've not heard that one before.
It's a schmedium. But my point is, though, you go to the store and the clothes don't fit. And now you're motivated again. And then, okay, I'm going to go get the gym memberships and I'm going to do this. But then that's going to fail again. And then, okay, you go to the doctor's appointment and your A1C's up, your blood pressure's up, your weight's up. Okay, John, what are you going to do? Okay, now you're motivated again. And then that fades again. So why do we think motivation fades as quickly as it does? What would you
Because
say?
the results are slow. So that's it. And one thing I do too, let me tell you really quick. When I am in a place where I'm trying to lose weight, I reward myself. And what that means is, okay, I need a pair of new gym shoes. Once I lose 2 more pounds, I'm getting those new gym shoes. Once whatever it is, like every week, I usually take like a little tally of what I did or what I didn't do. And do I deserve the thing that I was working for? It could be workout equipment. It could be clothing, whatever it is. But giving yourself these little tiny rewards are really, really powerful. It really kept me on track. It gives you motivation. Like really, it did give me a lot of motivation.
So write that down. If you're listening, write that down. That is huge, because that little thing that you said that works for you literally is the one thing why we're so hooked on planning, right? We talked about this. When you're planning to buy a new TV, or you're planning to go on a diet, or you're planning to start this business, or you're planning to whatever that plan is, it's always so exciting. It's right there.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yep.
excitement is huge, and it's going to push you, and you're going to think about it 24/7. You don't even have to journal about it because it doesn't leave your mind. You go to sleep thinking about it, and you wake up thinking about it. So yeah, I love that. You literally are planting that thing every week. So, okay, here's my goal this week. If I hit my goal this week, here's my treat. Now you're thinking about that treat.
But
What's
make
that
it a
gonna
treat.
do?
Make that treat get you closer to your next goal,
100%. Yeah,
whatever your
I
goal
love
is.
that. I love that.
Not a treat to make you fall off the wagon more.
No,
Just wanted
100%.
to clarify that.
Yeah, like, if it's starting, let's a prime example, okay? You're gonna start your store, and I know your journey was a little different, but I'm just gonna walk somebody down a path that they're planning on leaving a career and they're gonna start something. Okay, so what do I need to do? Let's back it up in reverse. Here's my goal. What are the things that I need to do to get there? Break it up into small, attainable goals, right? Stop looking at Mount Everest from the bottom to the peak and look at the little campsites. So what is my first campsite? What is the first attainable goal? Okay, when I get there, I'm going to buy these hiking shoes or whatever that thing is for that thing you're wanting, right? So if it's starting a business, okay, guess what? When I get to this point, when I've made this amount of contacts, when I've sent this many emails, whatever, then I'm going to make this investment in this thing that I'm going to need for the business or whatever. That's huge. I love that. That's write that down. That's something that I think if we all look at it that way, what's something that I really want for this, instead of going out today and buying every single thing you need for the diet, for the weight loss journey, for the whatever. Okay, what's the first thing that, okay, I don't need it right now, but I will need it, and I'm excited to get it. What's that first thing? Okay, here's my goal for this week. Did I hit it? Okay, great. Let's spend that money. I love that. It's huge. So on top of that, what are some other things that you think are why that excitement fades besides just the slow? Because we know it's all going to be slow. The ads tell us, oh, you're going to lose 10 pounds in 10 days, or all these things that the ads tell us. So we know it's slow. What are some of the other things that you think that kind of just that excitement fades?
Well, you don't have anything else to look for. And that was my tip that I just was saying about that, giving you something else to look forward to. You have to build within your goals. Like you have to have a list of things you want within it so that you're not just trying to get from here to here. You need to get these little tiny happy moments in it to keep the motivation going. So if it's a new pair of shoes, then it's a new pair of shoes. If it's you want to go to a workout class that you can't maybe afford, but if you get through these 2 weeks, then like it's just really about having moments to build your confidence. It's all about not just motivation, it's about confidence. building your confidence, because once your confidence is built, you want to do those things. It makes you feel good to do those things. So, I mean, it's all connected.
100%. And that's where I think another big piece that we all fall into with when motivation fades, it fades because it starts to get hard. So when you first start, right? I'll just use the podcast journey, right? When I first started, I had my phone, I had my Apple AirPods, and I said, okay, I'm gonna start here. And then if I do well, I'll invest in a camera and I'll go from there. And I kept, those little things, just like you said. But then when it first started, okay, everybody's like, oh, it's going to take you forever to get to 100 subscribers. I got to 100. I was like, well, that was pretty easy. But then all of a sudden, is anybody even listening? Nothing changed, right? So it got hard. And I'm like, well, is this really working? So I think a lot of times, whether it's in your health, whether it's in whatever, you get to that point where that first little easy part, right? The water weight, if it's losing weight, whatever, when all that kind of subsides and plateaus, and then it gets hard, motivation quits. And why does it quit? Because that's where the real work now starts. That's where, okay, easy mode is gone now. And if you didn't prepare, like you spoke of before, if you did not prepare, like in the last episode with the guitar out of the case moments, if you didn't put your shoes next to the bed, if you didn't have those small little things, now it's hard and you have no foundation.
Right.
You have to build that foundation. Building a house, building a skyscraper. Do they build floor 100 or do they build the foundation first, right? So what's your foundation? And if you don't have a foundation, the motivation is going to flee completely. One of the other things, and I don't know if you've experienced this, but this is me. You start confusing discomfort with failure. Oh, man, this is tough. Or, man, I'm just so sore. I'm 47. I can't do this anymore. Screw it. No. Discomfort is right when it's starting to work. Am I wrong?
Right. I totally agree. When things get hard, you have to learn more, do more, see more to get where your goal is. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that when you start to get to the point where you're not, if you're comfortable the whole way through, God bless you. I can promise you, and I use him as an example all the time because he's the most extreme example, but David Goggins, even though the man is a beast and he's doing, ultra marathons on broken toes and doing, thousands of push-ups, and he went from 0 to 1,000. I promise you, it's not easy. You look at Michael Jordan, you look at LeBron James. Okay, they're physically gifted, but they still get up and they still practice free throws. They still dribbled. They still did every foundational thing that they needed to do. Gifts or not, they still practiced to be the best they could be.
They showed up.
They showed up. That's it. And again, just like I said in the last episode, we're not looking for perfection, but show up. What's the one thing you can do today? Today might suck. I got up, I stubbed my toe on the bed, my toe hurts. The car didn't start, the battery's dead. Okay, what's one thing that I can do to win today? So when tomorrow isn't as bad, it's not even worse because now I got to catch up from what I didn't do today.
Well, my advice on that note, be glad you have a car and be glad your toes aren't cut off. I mean, there's always worse. I know that sounds silly, but I do that all the time. When something bad happens, I'm like, well, it could be this. Just keep going.
it so could be worse. Man, I've talked about this in the past, but I'll throw it out there again because it's so apropos right now. Early on in my journey, I'm driving rideshare. I'm woe is me. Life sucks. I left a really good job and now I'm driving rideshare and I'm trying to work on my health, but it doesn't seem like anything's working and my elbow doesn't straighten and my knees hurt. And I picked up this gentleman who came out of his house. It's a very long story. I've told this story a million times, but the gentleman was blind. He comes out of his house and turns around, locks his doors, walks down his front steps without holding any rails. He doesn't have a cane for being a blind man. He steps in front of my car. He's in front of the garage door, and he's just, I thought, looking around. Apparently he wasn't. He was blind. But I was in my electric car at the time, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting. And finally, I rolled down my window, and I said, "Hey, is such and such coming out?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, that's me." He goes, "Are you an electric car, hybrid or something?" I said, "No, I'm an electric car." He says, "Well, keep talking." And he walks up, gets his hand on my hood, runs his hand down the car, opens the back door, gets in. It's a round trip. I'm taking him to the bank and then back home. Big, beautiful home that he owns, by the way, that he tells me. Take him to the bank. Before I even say we're here, I hit the little bump going into the driveway. I pull in and he goes, "Hey, is the second parking space by the front door to the right of it open?" I said, "Yes, it is." He says, "Okay, can you park there?" I pull in, put it in park. He opens my door, walks directly beeline to the front door, steps over a parking block on his way there, doesn't touch anything, goes straight in, does his business, comes straight back out, beeline to my car, opens the door, gets in. Now I'm a little dumbfounded and confused, and I want to ask him, is he blind or is he legally blind and he can see shadows? But I'm biting my tongue because I don't want to offend him. And I finally say, give me 1 second. And I finally say, I apologize, I have to ask. I said, "But you said you're blind and you've just blew me away." I said, "Are you legally blind or are you blind? He says, "I've never seen a thing since birth." And I said, "Wow, how did you pull this off?" And he says to me, and this was the moment. Yes, I had other moments. I had the guy in my car who told me about Googling a box of Cheerios. But this was the moment when he verbally smacked me in the back of the head because I was, woe is me, poor John, poor John. And he said to me, the moment I was old enough to realize that I was different, I decided I would not be different. Nobody would know that I was blind unless I chose to tell them. I was not going to use a cane. I learned how to count steps. I learned how to feel things, listen to things, and be as normal as humanly possible. This man has never seen a sunrise. He's never seen this beautiful home that he's worked his whole life to own. But yet he's living a better life than I was at that moment.
Yep. It's powerful.
That man was motivated.
Yep.
And his motivation was not fleeting because he built things. He built habits. He built things that made his life simple.
It's a great story.
That story was one of the many that saved my life. I owe the man a lot. Don't even know him.
I got to tell you a story really quick too. There's a podcast I listen to. I won't say the person, but anyway, he's in the back alley and tons of people are there visiting him. Like he's doing a live cast and he's out in the alley and he's having a really bad day and he's like crying. And this homeless man comes up to him and he tries to give this homeless man money. And the homeless man says, "Oh no, I don't need your money. I have something you'll never have, and that's peace." Now that was a pivotal moment for that person's life. And he's huge now, but but little moments like that is what creates a different mindset. And you can realize that there is way worse than anything you're dealing with just right around the corner.
At our worst, somebody else, and again, I don't want to say trigger warning, but trigger warning. Okay. But at your worst, somebody else is going through something worse and thriving. I know your worst is your worst. It's not my worst. It's not Crystal's worst. And I know at your worst, it feels like there's no other. There's no way out. But somebody else out there has been there and they're thriving today. It might be because they picked up the phone and dialed 988. It might be because they reached out to a friend. It might be because they were David Goggins and just crazy strong. I don't know. But what you're dealing with right now, what you think is the worst that you'll never come back out of, somebody somewhere has been there and they're thriving today.
And there's someone that wishes they were in your shoes that has it even worse.
That has it worse.
That's a big one.
100%.
Like for me, when I would go to the gym and stuff and I would see someone that was like, double my size or whatever, and they're killing it over to the left of me, I think, man, they're great. Like, that is awesome. Like, I'd be so proud of them. But sometimes it takes seeing someone else in your situation or worse than your situation to motivate you to even do better. That's a big one, I feel like.
That's a huge thing to take away is we as human beings, we look at our little bubble, the world that we live in, and we don't realize there's so much more out there and so many more people that are going through things. And you might be living the life, like you just said, that somebody else wishes they could be living right now. So yeah, all that to be said, I know, trust me, I know. When my mother passed away, my world was over. When I fell from the train and my elbow was shattered, my knees are killing me, and I thought that, I could never do anything again. My world was shattered. I know that what you're going through right now is the worst thing in the world for you. But tomorrow, the sun will rise. As long as you don't give up, as long as you keep thriving and find that thing, whatever that thing is that pushes you through to tomorrow. And then tomorrow, reach out to somebody. I know we got off topic there, but maybe somebody needed to hear that. Somebody who's in a bad spot right now. So
yes.
On that note, what do you do, Crystal, when you're on fire, everything's going great, and then all of a sudden you have that emotional letdown when that result you were looking for didn't quite happen, or maybe it wasn't the way you thought it would be? Is there any tools that you have in your back pocket that you can share with somebody?
So I grab for something else. I grab for something else that feels good. That's what I do. If something else is failing in my life, I relish in the thing that's going great. If it's my relationship that's terrible, I'm relishing in my job that's great. If my job is great, and it's just a switch off. If my health is going great, I just revel in whatever is going good, and I take my focus off what I don't feel confident about. It literally is a confidence building thing. You have to build your confidence. And if you stay stuck in the things that's not working, it's not going to work. But if you take your attention off of it, you go over here and you make this even better, that's already good, your energy changes. And you can go back to that other thing and fix it later. I mean, that's what I do.
Yeah, that's a huge one. One of the things that I would say too, when things just aren't going right, find that, again, switching into what is going good, that's always looking for some gratitude is, first off, that's probably the best thing you can ever do. That's why I say end with that on every time you journal or at the end of your night, even if you don't journal. Gratitude, what are you grateful for the day? Something went right. You're still here, whatever that is. But another thing that I like to look at when things just don't go my way is, okay, it didn't quite work out, but that's why I like that second question when you're first starting journaling. If you don't have things to write and you say, how bad did it really turn out, right? It might not have been what I wanted it to be, but how was it? Usually
Right.
it's still pretty doggone okay. Not great, not good, but okay, right? Um, so lean on those moments that, yeah, okay, it didn't work out the way I wanted it to, but it went okay. Yes, the veil got pulled off my head and my hair came down, but guess what? It was okay, right? Everything else went great.
Right.
So learn to show up on average days and not just the great days. Two, I think that when we're all in that hyper motivated state, it's so much easier to show up. It's so much easier to just get up in the morning and okay, I know what I got to do. But when the day is just average, when it's not, that motivation is starting to fleet, having those things so you can show up on those days, not just the great ones, that's another huge way to keep yourself pushing when the motivation does fail. Here's another one. Let me ask you this one, Crystal. So when that progress starts to feel invisible, okay, maybe you're not seeing it on a scale. What's some of the other things that you can think of that'll keep you motivated, keep you pushing? You kind of know, you feel like, okay, I'm having progress. I'm doing it all right, but I'm just not seeing it.
When that happens for me, I think about the way I feel. Does my body feel less tense? Am I able to move faster? Am I able to do exercises with more weights? Like, I try to think about the things that are not visible on the scale. The scale does not tell the whole story. When I lost all that weight back in 2019, 2020, um, it wasn't the scale that gave me the results. Sometimes I was the same weight and I could get a pant size 2 sizes smaller. So it was not always the scale. The scale only gives you a number. You're talking about your muscle mass, you're talking about fat, you're talking about all kinds of things when you're trying to lose weight. So that's what I do.
Yeah, that's the key is whatever your goal that you're headed towards, whether it's health or just personal fitness or your relationship, whatever it is, when it starts to feel like, I know I'm putting in the effort, but man, things aren't happening. You got to look at the other things.
Hmm.
There's other signs that you're moving in the right direction.
Right.
If it's you and your spouse, you haven't argued in a while, things are going good, you're smiling a lot better, you're having a good time, or at work, seems like, everybody, it's just things are flowing, or when it's your health or your weight, your clothes fit a little bit better, or um, just there's so many different signs that you can look for. Don't just look at that one thing. And everybody, the biggest topic everybody talks about is their weight. Is it's new. We're at the beginning of the year, and we're halfway through January, and everybody's going, the scale started to move and everything's looking good, but man, it's just not going anywhere now. How are you feeling? Can you get up in the morning and maybe you're not as sore as you used to be, or your clothes are fitting a little bit better? Hey, are you one spot or notch better on your belt? And let me throw this back at you, because again, all these things that we're saying, these are very easy to say and hard to do. Let me just say, as easy as I think that this whole process of life that I've been down has been the easiest thing I've ever done, it's still not. You still have to work at it. You still have to go at it. And I'm going to give you one piece of advice that most people don't think about. So one of my biggest treats that I love right now, that has kind of replaced my chocolates, is pickles. Love pickles.
That's an odd replacement.
Well, yeah, it sounds like a pregnant woman, don't it? But no, pickles,
Chocolate
because
pickle. Chocolate pickle.
have you ever had a chocolate pickle now? No.
No, I have not.
Mally's actually makes them. Don't
All
try them. They're
right.
nasty. They're terrible. And I like chocolate and I like pickles. But anyway, so pickles. But here, let me give you this. Does everybody know, and I'm sure you do, and if you don't, you're going to learn right now and you can Google it. pickle brine is full of salt, which salt does what? Makes you retain water. So you might get on the scale. Let's say you were, you had a great day. You ate a salad, you had a really nice, healthy breakfast. Everything was good. And, in the evening, you wanted a little snack and you ate 2 pickle spheres. You might get up in the morning and feel a little bloated. You're like, what the heck? Did I gain some weight? Breathe. What did I eat the day before? Is this really weight? Am I bloated? Women probably get a lot more than men, so you can attest to this if you want. But water weight is huge, right? So don't freak out because I like to say weigh yourself every day, because you're going to notice those fluctuations. You're going to notice, oh, I had 2 pickle spheres, 7:00 last night. I went to bed at 9. So yeah, I woke up a little bit puffy this morning, okay. But then I got on the scale tomorrow and I'm down 5 pounds. Well, okay. There you go. Right. That's why I say weigh yourself every day. If your New Year's resolution this year was weight loss and trying to get healthy, I challenge you to weigh yourself every day. Not so you can get angry every time it's up 2 pounds or jump for joy every time it's down 3, because it will fluctuate that way twice a day if you do it. But so you can see the trends. Because if you weigh yourself on Monday and then next Monday you get on the scale and you just so happen to eat a salty meal the night before, now you're up, say, 3 pounds of water weight. And then now next week, you didn't do that and you think you lost 8 pounds. And then the next week, why am I up 5 pounds? Because you're not. You didn't lose 8 pounds. You had false weight, if that's what I'm trying to get at. I didn't mean to get technical on it, but these are things that when you make these habits of daily things, you're getting on the scale daily, you're setting your shoes up for success, you're doing all these things, you'll start to build these habits where you'll start to see trends, I guess, is what I'm getting at.
Ebbs and flows.
Ebbs and flows, 100%. One thing that I want everybody to do, and I say this because I can already see the person I lovingly call my trolls. If you've watched some of my episodes, I have Max Effort pops in every now and then. He won't anymore because now I have Crystal. She can be my Max Effort. But would pop in and go, oh, but John. So I'm going to throw this out for you because we are talking a lot of, okay, yes, strive for perfection, but understand that, it's the small things that matter and this and that. So I do want to give you one PSA because I don't want people to go, well, I don't have to try. Yes, you do. Because if you don't try your best, it doesn't matter how many small things you try to stack up, you're never going to get there. So what I would love to challenge you with is adjust your expectations without lowering your standards. Never lower your standards. You can adjust your expectations based on life, based on where you're at that moment. But do not lower your standards. If my goal is to climb Mount Everest, I'm not going to say, well, I made it to the first base point. That's okay. I'm going to say, what's it going to take to get to the first base point? Celebrate it, enjoy it, buy my little thing that I want for getting there or whatever. And then what's my preparation to get to the next base camp? Don't lower your standards, adjust your expectations. It might take you 2 weeks versus a week. It might take you a year versus a month. That's changing and adjusting your expectations. Don't lower your standards. I think that works in your relationships, in your career, in everything. Don't change you for somebody else. You can change the expectations. You can understand that it might take a while, but don't change your standards.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I concur.
um, and then just kind of one last thing, and then I'll kind of close this out. But on this same journey, when we're talking about motivation and how it fleets, what I would love to have you just think about is give yourself permission to move slower without stopping. What's that mean? Same thing we've been talking about this whole episode, and we've said it a couple other times. Just because today isn't going your way, what's the one thing you can do? Even if it goes a little slower, don't stop. Keep pushing. You've got this. I say that all the time. You've got this. No matter how hard it seems, no matter where life seems like it's cutting you off at the knees right now, you have got this. Other than that, before we end this week, is there anything that you wanted to kind of just throw in, add on to the topic, or just kind of lead us into for the rest of the season, or just anything you want to talk about?
No, I kind of just want to tell people to make the step, like take a step in the right direction, whatever it is, finances, relationship, weight loss, commitments, all the things. Just take a step. You can always reevaluate later and shift, but just get your feet planted somewhere. Stop talking about it, start doing it. And I know it's tough. I live this life too. We all have things that we're not good at. We all have things that we have to work towards, but it really is just making the first movement. Once you make the first movement in the way you need to go, if you are truly aligned with what you're supposed to do, it will work out. The next thing will come to you, and you can build on your habits, you can build on your confidence, and you can keep going.
Awesome. Yeah. And that's just, if you're going to take something away from today, that's huge. Just stop planning and just start doing. Like, what's the one thing you can do today to start? You might have missed your New Year's resolution. You might figure I'm already halfway into January and it's just, this isn't going to work. Start right now. One of the very first things, if you watch episode 1, the opening highlight clip is Crystal literally saying, don't wait, start right now. So if you take anything away from what we're going to talk about this whole season, don't wait, start now. On top of that, so it'll be you'll be back from your trip before we get to talk again, so have a safe one, and I hope that everything goes really smooth for you on that, and bring back a lot of topics. I think you're going to learn a lot, self learning and others on this trip. So
absolutely.
Other than that, as always, guys, stay healthy, stay balanced, and keep driving forward. We'll see you next time.